Tiger Cub timing. Turn the engine over gently on the kickstart until you feel compression on your thumb. Try not to let the piston get to the top, but when you have the compression stroke, insert I use a coffee stirring stick. Gently bring the piston up on the kickstart until, as you can see, I'm tapping the kickstart here. It seems to just flatten out. Although the kickstart is moving the engine, the piston doesn't seem to be moving. That's top dead center. Create a reference mark on the stirring stick. I use the top of the plug hole there as a reference. When you insert it back in again, it should line up again. And then to create the timing mark, you take reference from the workshop manual. In this case, 0.16 of an inch before top dead center, and you mark the stick accordingly. Now, the sharp eyes amongst you will realise that I marked the wrong side of the line, and that would actually be after top dead center. So there's nothing to stop you moving the mark to the other side of the line. And for those working in metric, 0.16 of an inch translates into 4.1 to 4.2 of a millimetre. Now, with the engine in that position, you insert the thinnest feeler gauge you've got in your set, and you turn the back plate until it just releases the feeler gauge. And I mean, you take your time, put gentle tension on, and as soon as it releases, you know you're in roughly the right position. In the old days, they used to use Rizzler fag papers, both on magnetos and points, so the system works. One thing I didn't like at this point was I was using up all the adjustment slot. If you look at the, yeah, it's just released there. If you look at the slot, the screw is right at the very end. There's no further adjustment for the timing. I didn't like this, but I locked it off, and it's more to show you how you can confirm that this is roughly the right place for your timing. You actually do things in reverse. Put your feeler gauge back in with the plate knocked off, and without looking at the stick or anything like that at all, turn the engine over on the points cam and find the place where the feeler gauge lets go again. As you can see, it's a gentle moving around, and then you confirm it with the stirring stick. Well, as I say, with this I wasn't happy with where the slots are. Now there are a couple of reasons why this can be the way it is. This mark here is just so I can put back the auto advance and retard unit, and it just gives me a reference to where it is and where it should be. Sometimes it's the points. Aftermarket points, I mean the originals, I doubt if they're made by the Lucas anymore. They're often a bit iffy, put it that way. But another reason can be, on some of the advance and retard units, the camshaft doesn't have a locating peg on the internal taper, so the advance and retard unit can literally be put back in any position. I don't know if it's the early ones had the pip and the later ones didn't, but I had to find out just in case. So I removed the advance and retard unit, placed it back in lightly and turned it. only to find that the pip was at the bottom and it was correctly located. But at least now I know that it's not been replaced in the wrong place. Again, I pull it out, give it a good twist and make sure it clicks onto the pip at the bottom of the camshaft taper. As I say, rotate it gently and all of a sudden it'll just click into place. So tighten everything up and do it all again. The way I lock the engine off to tighten this particular bolt is put it in first gear, heavy hand on the rear brake lever, and then you can tighten up the actual bolt. So it's replace the base plate and just go through the procedure again. Here I'm rocking the points to see if I can see the point where they open and close, and again I shall check with the steering stick on the other side of the engine just to see if I've got everything where it should be. This bit takes practice. I wouldn't advise this for the beginner. I would say stick to the feeler gauge method. And there we have it. The mark lines up with the top. The other problem, of course, was the float needle. So I got a replacement with the nitrile tip on it. So it was strip the carb down, fit the nitrile jet, put the float back together again and reassemble the carburetor. This can be fiddly because the float can fall out of position. And then a quick check to see if it's working. As you can see here, it's locked off. Here it's blowing freely. So thankfully. And now the big test of all. I'll let the bike do the talking. There you go. Thanks for watching. Next will be the road test.